This is Armageddon News. In this broadcast, we'll discover the ancient mark of Satan's kingdom. We'll find out who Babylon the Great really is. And we'll discover why Turkey will be the seat of the Antichrist. Good day. Many have long speculated on who Babylon the Great really is. Rome has been the prime candidate for many, as well as New York. But neither of these is the true Babylon. The Bible tells us that this Babylon is a mystery to the world, but the Bible declares plainly exactly where Mystery Babylon is located. It's not the original Babylon in Iraq. But yet its practices are identical to Babylon's. The Babylonian religious system revolved around the worship of the heavens, the sun, moon and stars. The crescent and star symbol is the very key, not only to who Mystery Babylon is, but also to the identity of the beast. The crescent and star is known to be the symbol of Islam. But these ancient and demonic symbols were also the very symbols of Baal Hammon. Baal, the ancient Mesopotamian false god mentioned in the Bible, who was worshipped together with Ashtaroth, the star goddess. These symbols go all the way back to Nimrod and Semiramis. Semiramis was the wife of Nimrod, but she was also his mother. This disgusting harlot started all the false religions of the world. When God changed the people's languages and they stopped building Nimrod's Tower of Babel, this cult of Nimrod and Semiramis continued to spread into those divided nations, most of which have a god and goddess as the basis of their false religion, which began with Nimrod and Semiramis. Their cult went from one empire to the next. In Egypt, they were called Osiris and Isis. In Assyria, Ashur and Ishtar. In Babylon, Bel and Belit. In Persia, Mithra and Anahita. In Greece, Helios and Artemis. In Rome, Apollo and Diana. Throughout the Bible, they are mainly called Baal and Ashtaroth, the Queen of Heaven. In the Book of Acts they are called Moloch and Rephan. You even took along the tent of Moloch, the star of your god Rephan, and the images you made in order to worship them. But throughout all their name changes, one thing remained the same. The symbols by which these false gods are identified. The crescent and star. In Egypt, the crescent and star was carried on the head of Isis. And the Apis bull also carried the sun disk image of Isis between his crescent-shaped horns. And if you take a closer look, you can see that the real author of these symbols is the serpent. And he is the one receiving the worship through these symbols of the crescent and star. The Bible tells us that the serpent is Satan. During Roman times, Semiramis was worshipped under the name Diana. Diana's image was once again the crescent and star of Islam. And they too bowed down and worshipped her image in the form of a meteorite, which fell from heaven. Because the meteorite depicted her astrological, moon and star image. When the apostles tried to minister to the people in Ephesus, all of them with one voice went on crying out for about 2 hours, "Great is Diana of Ephesus." And having quieted the crowd, the city clerk said, "Men of Ephesus, for what man is there who does not know that the city of the Ephesians is the temple keeper of the great goddess Diana, and of the image fallen from heaven?" Clearly the image which fell from heaven was a meteorite. And the worshippers of Diana all worshipped her in the same way, by shouting "Great, great, great is Diana." This is exactly how the Muslims praise Allah. And they bow toward the city of Mecca, repeating Allahu Akbar over and over again. For Allahu Akbar means Allah is great. And it's the very same cry heard by the worshippers of Diana as they bow toward the great city of Mecca. Mecca has become just like Ephesus, the city which held the meteorite image, which fell down from heaven. They too chanted that Diana was great. For the Muslims, just like Ephesus, also bow down to an image which fell from heaven. And Muslims are seen kissing and caressing the stone, as if the stone was a woman. Indeed, Mecca is the great harlot, whose worshippers call her great. And it's the very title, written on her forehead. Babylon the Great. When the angel took John into the desert, to see this harlot, he told him that it wasn't just a false religious system, but a religious city, as well. The only religious city, which can be found in a desert, is Mecca. And shockingly, the very symbol of the Star of Semiramis, the harlot, is still being worshipped today, by Muslims around the world. In the form of the Kaaba stone. The Muslims claim that the Kaaba stone was a star which fell from heaven. It's the very same star symbol of Semiramis, the Queen of Heaven. And she is still being worshipped today, exactly where the angel said this harlot could be found. In the wilderness, or desert. Babylon is not Rome, neither is it New York, for neither of those places are found in a desert. The last time Israel was in the desert, they were also worshipping a false god. The golden calf, which Moses smashed. This was the same bull calf god, from Egypt. The bull god carried the very symbol of the harlot Isis between its crescent-shaped horns. Thanks to the discoveries of Ron Wyatt, we know exactly that this false worship took place in the desert of Saudi Arabia, where the altar for the golden calf still stands, kept secret by the Saudi Arabian government. The very same country and desert, where the Jews were worshipping this golden calf beast, and star symbol of the harlot, is the same country and desert, in which we find the city of Mecca. Mecca has become the global center of moon and star worship. The exact same religion of ancient Babylon. Before Islam, Mecca was a city dedicated to many false gods. The false goddess, Alat, was the wife of Allah. Alat was the moon goddess, and fertility goddess Semiramis, which Satan has used from the beginning. Her shrine was the Kaaba, which housed Alat's most famous idol, a black stone meteorite. Muhammad took the city of Mecca in 632. And Muhammad entered her shrine, and destroyed Alat's idols. Yet her black stone idol was preserved. And Muhammad even helped to position her black stone idol in the east wall of the Kaaba. Indeed, the Kaaba stone is the idol of the harlot. The angel told John that this harlot sits on many waters. Then he said to me, "The waters which you saw, where the harlot sits, are peoples, multitudes, nations and languages." The angel told John that the waters were not seas, but people from all over the world. From many peoples, nations and languages. This is an amazing description, seeing as the Muslims come from all over the world for the Hajj. These people flow in and circle around the Kaaba like water. Indeed, this harlot does sit on many peoples, nations and languages. And they all fall down and worship the image of Semiramis or Diana, which fell from heaven. The Muslim call to prayer exactly mirrors Nebuchadnezzar's form of worship. Nebuchadnezzar set up an image in the plain of Dura. When all the people in his kingdom heard the music, which was a call to prayer, they all had to bow down toward the image which he set up. Or, he said they would be put to death. This is identical to the Islamic form of worship. It's exactly the same form of Babylonian worship, instituted by Nebuchadnezzar. And at the call to prayer, Muslims, just like the Babylonians, all fall down and worship an image. The worship of Bel, in Babylon, revolved around sun worship. And astoundingly, the Islamic prayer times are based on the 5 positions of the sun throughout the day. In fact, the 5 prayer times have to be judged by things like what the sun's color is, how long the shadow is, or whether there is light left in the sky. You can find out from Wikipedia how Islamic prayer times are tied to the sun itself. The very beast system of Babylonian worship is already in place, waiting for the speaking image of the beast, which may be the very Kaaba stone itself, which Muhammad declared would one day speak and give wisdom to all who touch it. Very few people have connected the dots to Islam. Those who refuse to bow toward the Islamic beast's image, when the call from the minarets is heard throughout the Islamic Empire, will be put to death. Just like they were under Nebuchadnezzar. In Babylon, they worshipped the sun god, through the magic square. And the Babylonian